Today's Hot Shots review, and I've been joined by Duncan from Blue. We have 3 brand new videos for them to get their teeth into. Have you all been looking at the videos? Have you all done your homework?
Yes, we have.
Good boys and girls. Good. First up, a lady whose debut solo album has been one of the biggest hits of the year. It is, of course, the unstoppable Beyonce. Crazy in Love, which was, of course, the song of the summer. Duncan, I'm going to come to you first. Mobo's Thursday night. Beyonce was up for 4. She went home with a button. What? Do you think that was fair?
I think personally the Mobo's, it's obviously music of black origin, but I think they should be keeping it British, and she's an American artist, so I think personally she shouldn't get one anyway, so.
Really?
Don't get me wrong.
That single was such a hit. It's like song of the year, Duncan.
She is an amazing artist. She's beautiful, she's talented, she's sold absolutely loads of albums, and I think she's an amazing artist herself. But I think for the Mobo's, I think it should be kept British, man.
It was the Mobo's, and there was a lot of there was some bad vibe. People were saying maybe it was too American. You got Blue Cantrell and Lil Kim hosting. 50 Cent took home 3. Do you agree with that? Do you think it was too American this year?
I agree with Duncan, because we went, and it should be kept British, even though 50 Cent's a really good artist and stuff. You know, we've got really good urban acts, Miss Dynamite, Big Brothers.
Sugar Babes.
All like really good urban acts in England. So I think the British act should be getting a bit more when it's a British award show.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. To you know, 50 Cent went home with 3 awards. He's so popular now amongst the mainstream, and yet his videos, you know, some of them can't be played during the daytime. He's now being put onto this pedestal by winning these 3 awards. Do you think that's a good move?
Well, before we get on to 50 Cent, I'd like to disagree with Heidi and Duncan. You know, basically, it's controversial, but in my opinion, if it's music of black origin, black music originated in America, you know, and it was brought over here, so that's where it really originated. So I don't think we should be so nationalistic about it. We should take artists at their artistic value and not necessarily where they come from.
I don't think we should say that.
As far as 50 Cent is concerned, I think it's just a little bit of a shame because I'm a big hip-hop fan, but I've always been a fan of hip-hop with a message.
Right.
Like Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, etc., the origins of hip-hop. I think it's just a shame that there's this twist towards real negativity in hip-hop and violence in hip-hop and a kind of this gangster kind of lifestyle, you know, because, you know, I don't think it's 100% representative of everybody who listens to hip-hop.
So basically, it's a powerful medium. Let's do something good with it.
Exactly.
Rather than spread negativity.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good. Okay, now next up, it's a comeback single from an ex-Neighbours songstress from the 80s. You're going out with someone now? You can't say things like that. No. With an 80s-inspired new rock sound, it's Holly Valance. She could be whistling the Magic Roundabout. I promise you. Heidi, coming to you first. Obviously, she's a boy's girl. Is she a girl's girl too?
I think she is a girl's girl, because girls want to look like that anyway.
Right.
Like, even though, you know, I'd like to look like that, so I think she is a girl's girl in a way. I'd like to see her sing live more.
Right.
You know, I think she's a really good performer, but I'd like to see her live a lot more.
Do you like her music, though?
I think it's good. I wouldn't really buy it, but I think she's good.
Not your personal taste, but there's people out there that would.
Yeah.
Brian, she was a Neighbours actress. Then she invented herself into kind of a Kylie-esque pop princess.
Yeah, I'm deeply, deeply suspicious of that kind of situation, to be honest with you.
How suspicious are you?
Well, deeply, deeply suspicious. It reeks of stage school to me, and you know, and it irks me that you know that people who start off in soap operas and switch over to music don't necessarily pay their dues. I had to I had to tour toilets for 5-6 years before
With one man and his dog.
Yeah, exactly. You know, in a transit van with a mattress in the back. You know, in order to kind of to get where we are. You know, so that I find a little bit irritating. The song itself, I think she's jumping on a bit of an electroclash trip, which is really a bit over because you guys went to #1 with that kind of thing, you know, a couple of years ago. You know, so you know. Yeah, so, you know, it's kind of following in your footsteps a little bit, and it's a little bit past it.
Okay, a little bit passé. Duncan, Holly had a huge hit with Kiss Kiss.
Yeah.
How can artists follow that kind of, she went to #1, how can they follow that up and have a long career, you know, how can they have longevity?
I think it's getting harder and harder now in the singles charts because people are not buying singles anymore, you know, it's gone right down, it's at like an all-time low, and it's killing, you know, the industry, what with mobile phones and everybody else going out rushing out each week to buy lots of different things. So I think it is harder and harder and harder, especially with Pop Idol coming through.
Well, you see, but the thing is, Duncan, you say it's harder and harder, and yet I have some facts here. Back in the day, Blur Country House needed 500,000 copies to get them to #1. Now this week's sales only needed 4,000 copies sold to get them into the top 10. No. So it isn't necessarily harder. Would you say? I think pay attention, Duncan, otherwise you'll move to the back of the class. But you know what I mean? It's like you don't have to shift as many copies now.
You don't have to shift as many, but I'm saying that it's harder in a way to sort of stay at longevity. It's harder to stay at the top.
You mean it's more disposable now?
Yeah, and I don't think the record companies can be recouping off 4,000 a week.
Clearly not.
So
it's hardly enough to even make the sleeve, is it? That?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So all in all, no, you weren't feeling it. You were kind of feeling it.
I like the song. I think she's got.
And you just love Holly, though.
I think she looks great.
Okay. Today's last video is the brand new release from one of the UK's most hotly tipped up-and-coming rock bands. They come from Wales. They share a manager with Metallica, and this single hits the tops in October. It's Lost Prophets. Now we are seeing a real resurgence in rock. I think this was the first year ever that rock has outsold pop in the singles states, 31% to 30 or something. It's marginal, but it's still there. Do you think these guys reflect what's going on in pop at the moment? And of course, the other big band at the moment is The Darkness.
I was wondering how long it would take before The Darkness.
Well, they're huge. I mean, it's massive. They're being followed around in the States. The Sun are covering them all the time. Do you think they represent?
The thing about The Darkness, I think, is that if people, old people like me, you know, remember the bands that they were influenced by the first time round.
Queen and...
Yeah, and all the hair bands, you know, kind of thing. And I didn't really like it the first time round, you know, so it's kind of like, it's a little Spinal Tap, in my opinion. You know, they're great guys. We did some shows with them this summer, but the comedy factor versus sort of, you know, actual soul, you know, it's kind of a bit more comedy, in my opinion. So, you know, that's just my view on The Darkness. As far as the Lost Prophets are concerned, you know, I think the problem with a lot of rock music today is that it doesn't necessarily break a great deal of new ground, you know, and it doesn't take enough risks.
It's regurgitated stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, you know, and you know, I think that we should really be trying to push rock music as far forward as possible, you know.
Okay.
I think it's wicked.
You're feeling it?
I'm not really into rock music.
Not really into rock music. Okay, well, thank you all very much for your comments.
Thank you very much.
So short. Still to come on this morning show, you are just